Guys, me and Willie Mac show, we don't agree on everything. Though I will say, I feel like I've agreed with him more often lately than ever, considering my introduction to him was when we had a debate. And the consensus is that I won that debate. He's not a debater or anything. He doesn't, like, do debates or pride himself in debates. Though despite that, he still railed the fuck out of Hassan. Hilarious, by the way. It really gives perspective. Like, you can be just someone who does not do debates, does not care for it, and just go on, and Hassan will fall apart, because he is not good at defending his ideas. Regardless, though, Willie Mac show, not perfect, obviously. I know, I'm only saying this because I know a lot of you guys will be like, why is Zan watching a Willie Mac show video? He did this and that. And it's like, yeah, I know he did this and that. I don't like that he did this and that. However, objectively speaking, his content on Hassan has been on the mark. I'll admit that I have a personal bias against Hassan, though I don't really know if it's personal. It's more of just a political bias, actually. I'm gonna be honest, ever since Hassan's, like, constant defense of Russia during the Ukraine invasion, I can't get behind the guy. I really do hate him after that. Like, you have to understand, you know how right now we're getting constant videos and footage of, like, children and families being killed by the IDF in Gaza? And that's, like, motivated a lot of hatred towards Biden. In the same way, when Hassan was doing that, there were constant videos of the Russians just airstriking and blowing up apartment complexes filled with families, rolling over cars with children in them with tanks. There was the, like, entire, he literally was playing into Russian misinfo about, like, the Bucha massacre, where there was this little town street area that was just like, one day, you look at the satellite footage, empty street, right? Next day, after the Russians came through and took the area from the Ukrainian army, there is just bodies in the street. Hands tied behind their backs, bullets in their heads, dead in the street. Men, women, and children. I believe the forensic evidence found signs of sexual assault on the women and children, too. On their bodies. So, like, when Hassan then proceeded to play defense nonstop for Putin and Russia, down to the point of saying the Crimean annexation was justified, and no matter how bad you feel about it, it feels to me like if someone just outright said, nah, man, what Israel's doing to the Palestinian people right now, completely justified. Nah, man, it's justified. No, okay, well, maybe it's not justified, but it's not for no reason. Okay, maybe it is, okay, well, maybe it is, like, just constantly, like, walking it back to, like, less and less, like, offensive positions, but because Ukraine isn't the thing right now that everyone's talking about, people just let Hassan off the hook for this for some reason. I don't know why. Regardless, though, Willie Mac Show put a new video out a few days ago, and I haven't even seen it yet, and I really want to see it. So I figure we might as well watch, like, the first good bit of it together. I usually have a good bit to add when Willie Mac Show covers this stuff. He is a master at gathering evidence, clips, and just, like, putting together everything. But I feel, I mean, maybe it's better that he says less than I would say, because I'm long-winded and sometimes get, like, lost in the weeds, and I think his videos are better concise and digestible. But I feel like they're perfect for watching and adding on to with extra arguments and stuff. Like, I've got a little extra political knowledge he might not have, like, access to or know about that, you know, I could be like, oh, and on top of that, this is extra stupid because, you know? So, yeah. Hassan is a CCP apologist for their actions in Hong Kong, Tibet, and, isn't that the capital of, Hong Kong? I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna butcher it. I can't. I know so little about, like, geography of, like, China and the countries and regions that they consumed. Because, like, you gotta remember, a lot of everything, it's like, okay, imagine this is China, like the general shape of China. I'm trying for it here. Everything around this bit of China like, this bit has been fucking, like, basically just stolen. Just straight up stolen. That's where the Uyghur Muslims are. My bad. That's up there, where the land that I was just talking about that was stolen. Literally, what I'm talking about. Up there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, there aren't, like, the Uyghur Muslim population literally subjected to non-stop, like, no matter who they are, where they live, what their criminal record is, it doesn't matter. If you are a Uyghur Muslim person and you live in China, you live under constant surveillance as if you are some kind of, like, second-class citizen, right? Like, the best case scenario you can hope for is they've got security cameras outside your front door so they can track everywhere you go throughout the day until you get home. Because that's how the police track people these days, is they use footage from cameras. Yeah, anyway. And, of course, the concentration camps, yeah. There's footage. There are footage. The reports involve the use of, cattle prods on workers made to manufacture things in these facilities. Here's an image where several men seem to have been identified by name. This is one of the images that comes up of the camps. They're all made to wear jumpsuits and sit in single file, in a fenced-in area while armed guards patrol. They're just rounded up, forced to work, re-education, hard labor, and these are men who have been identified via photos that have managed to be taken. The Chinese government does not admit that this exists. And Hassan follows what the Chinese government says. Let me see if I can find some more images. A lot of it has been like drone footage and what have you. Which means that there's not really much that you can see, right? Although, one of the scariest things has been this image. You don't have to look long at this image to know what this is. This is satellite footage of that region in China. This is 2015. This is 2018. Within just a few years, they've built the base of a camp. And by 2020, like, this is how many people they are processing into this facility. That it's grown this much, this fast. Look how quickly these camps sprouted up. In 5 years, 2015 to 2020, this is what they built to accommodate the sheer amount of people they are holding in 5 years. Guys, it's fake. The Chinese State Department said so. Listen, when you ask me why do I hate Hassan, why do I think that he is worse than Destiny? It's because even if Destiny is a genocide denier, Hassan is denying so many genocides right now that the amount of genocide he's denying is actually more genocide than Destiny is denying. So, yeah, no. I would say that Hassan is worse than Destiny. Hassan wins the mid-off. But Xanderhall, the USA has also done bad things in the past, so China gets this one on the house. Yeah. Listen, for a lot of, like, left-leaning people, to be honest, like, any act of military action will be, like, intolerable in many cases. I think a lot of, like, the modern left would have been against the U.S. getting involved in World War II, unironically.
Don Piker is the most prominent left-leaning streamer online. His debate resume includes Asmongold, a 16-year-old Israeli kid, and me, where his only defense for his continually poor reporting is saying it's all out of context.
The reason why I said this, and you do this regularly, okay?
Willie Mac Show beat Hassan. So, like, this is, like, my mindset, right? So if I scale past Willie Mac Show, or at least I did when we first debated, and Willie Mac Show scales past Hassan, doesn't that mean I easily scale past Hassan? I don't know. You guys think about it.
Okay? When I say something on this stream, okay, oftentimes, especially if it's a developing story.
Like, how do you know
I like his buddy. He's just there, like, stressed the fuck out, like, not even wanting to be a part of this. Like, why the fuck am I here just hitting his vape?
Say this stuff.
Especially if it's a developing story. If I misspeak, apparently you can use it in your commentary as though it's, like, super serious. So, anyway.
I didn't name one example that I did that.
I don't know. I don't watch your videos, so.
Yeah, so don't make shit up.
Yeah, Hassan's the... Okay, can I tell you guys something that Hassan likes to do? And I feel like a lot of communities in the online left do this too much, okay? Hassan has built this, like, audience of people who he has taught this idea that if anyone criticizes him or calls him out and they do it for a certain set of reasons, then they must be some conservative incel weirdo. And so when Hassan can't argue against, like, Willie Mac Show is not coming onto the stream to argue with Hassan that Israel is good. Willie Mac Show didn't go on to stream to argue with Hassan that, like, trans people are bad. Or that, like, kids shouldn't have access to hormone blockers or anything like that. No issues that have to do with left or right. Willie Mac Show went on to confront Hassan about his spreading of misinformation. Hey Hassan, you said with your full chest that this thing happened. Here is an overwhelming amount of evidence that it didn't happen. Not only that, but that you actually should have known it didn't happen, and I think you were lying. And his response to that is to quiver and cry, and then to appeal to his audience to say, doesn't this right-wing freak just, he's obsessed. Don't give him any clout. He's obsessed. Hassan can't engage with his, like, detractors. He can't. When he does, he always gets steamrolled. If it's anyone who knows his game, he gets steamrolled. Relevant clip of Hassan speculating. I love this video. It's so good. Oh my god.
If I make a prediction or a speculation, it can sometimes be wrong. IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Yes, it did. Yes, it fucking did. You fucking piece of shit. Yes, it absolutely did. Fuck you. Fuck you. Genocidal scumbag. You have no fucking dignity. You do not have an ounce of dignity inside of your soul. You fucking piece of shit. You garbage, monstrous scumbag. You garbage, monstrous scumbag. Why did you fucking lie? How can you live with yourself, you genocidal piece of shit?
I watch that, like, once a month, honestly. I'm not even lying, dude. I watch that once a month, bro. I watch that shit too regularly. It's so fucking funny. The Attack on Titan music just, it's perfect. Anyway, back to it.
He's very critical of other people's debating skills. His grand advice to Destiny when debating Ben Shapiro was to call Ben a fascist.
Oh my god, dude. Dude, this is why you need to be a little bit more educated, okay? He's a fascist. Him bringing up Nazi Germany as a moral regression is an awesome point. What do you...
Guys, I'm gonna hit y'all with a uncomfortable truth about making content that that appeals to an audience. Chat, how many of you would say that, like, the idea behind the type of content, like, the idea behind left-wing content getting out there, getting popular, getting a lot of views, getting a lot of support, right? The point of that is so that people who aren't left-wing, who are perhaps even far-right, will stumble upon that content and potentially have their minds changed by it because they'll be exposed to arguments in a way that they might have only been arguments they've only been explained in a, like, sort of straw man and poorly represented way by conservative demagogues will then be represented by the actual people who believe them in a good way. So it's like, you might be some 14-year-old chud who's only ever seen, like, feminism discussed from crazy ranting, like, there were, to be fair, a few videos of, like, feminists having meltdowns in public. There was, like, one famous one where a lady threw a trash can through a window and screamed about the patriarchy. Maybe it was an op, I don't know. Regardless, if that's been your conception of feminism, and you stumble across an H. Bomber Guy video, where he's talking about, like, misogyny being bad, but in, like, a funny, measured, not taking it super seriously almost kind of way, but, like, holy crap, I didn't know this stuff. Like, I'm having fun, I'm laughing, this video's, like, entertaining, but I'm also, like, kind of being faced with some realities that I didn't consider before. Like, that's important. That is the point, I think, of this content. That's what I hope it is doing. Let me show you guys something. Hassan is the largest content creator in all of the online left, right? I believe this is his YouTube channel. Is it? Is this his Twitch or his YouTube? followers. Okay, so this would be Twitch. Okay, so this is Hassan's Twitch stats. Just to give you, like, this is his big platform. This is, like, where he is. This is where his shit is at. Take a look at this. Sure, he's still got the A+ grade because he's one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, but followers for the last 30 days is just 10K. It's down by 870% over the last month. And it's been continuously on this track for months and months and months and months and months. He's losing followers more so than gaining. Now, to give you some perspective, and like I'm not like a fan of this fact, but I think it's important that we look at what's working and what's not. Look at Destiny's Social Blade. He's gaining 1,000 new subs to his getting close to 1 million sub channel every few days. As Hassan's brand of socialism, quote unquote, is dying, and the online left is dying out, neoliberalism, or just liberal soak-dem politics like Destiny's, are winning out. The online left has an extremely bad reputation, and even people that are marginally progressive don't want to be associated with it after years and years of, like, shit like, the cancel culture, like, all that stuff. And granted, there was a bit of cancel culture, but whatever it is that Destiny's up to seems to be having a far more impactful channel-growing effect, bringing in far more people to a much less, like, radical right-wing audience than Hassan's content is. Hassan's actually dying off. It seems that he has currently got an audience that is slowly whittling away because they're slowly realizing that he's full of shit. And those people are jumping ship and they're going to Destiny. And when they leave Hassan, they're leaving, like, leftism. Because for them, when they find out what a piece of shit Hassan is, the first person they think of is, who has been shit-talking Hassan all these years? Who has been criticizing him and saying he was a bad guy all this time? Destiny. Maybe that guy was right. I should go watch his stuff. I should go sub to him and go watch his stuff. That guy had a point about Hassan. And the next thing you know, they're like, yeah, you remember when I was a leftist? Oh, so cringe. Yeah, now I'm a based liberal. Yeah, you know, like that's kind of like the arc they'll go through. A lot of these, like, ex-Hassan fans. And I feel that a lot of the online left doesn't recognize that, like, the left is, like, culturally, is poison. I don't even know how to put it into words anymore because I've been so immersed in the left for so long that, like, it's hard to even see the flaws as well as I could when I was newer to it. But, I'm going to give you guys my edgiest fucking take here, okay? I have so many friends that don't even know or care about politics, and they are all LGBT pretty much. Almost all of them. Like, the amount of friends I've made through gaming and non-political stuff that don't give a fuck about politics that end up being, like, LGBT, or, like, part of a marginalized group, like, in that way, or trans or something, that I just know separate of this space, that want nothing to do with politics. So, mostly because if they're going to get involved with politics, they have to be on the left, and if they're going to be on the left, they're going to have to deal with people on the left. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard someone, like, who is left-leaning, young, LGBT, and just, like, an online, like, gamer, kind of, like, somewhat edgy person say, I would be, like, on the left, quote-unquote, if it weren't for the fact that I would have to deal with leftists. That's the quote that I've heard multiple times. If it weren't for the fact that I would have to deal with leftists. The average person has grown a very negative perception of leftists. Rightfully so, in my opinion. In my opinion, the online left has done its absolute best since 2019 to take every bit of goodwill that had been built up since, like, 2017 to 2019 and destroy it. A lot of leftists are terminally online insufferable gooners. A lot of those people were, finally someone says it, it's so true, isn't it, the gamer god? It's so true. It's so true. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Do you want to know what moment made me so proud of the online left? Do you want to know what moment made me so fucking proud of the online left? I'm going to get so canceled for this take, but I don't care. When Nicholas Cantu didn't get canceled for calling Dream the F-slur. I was so worried he was going to get fucking canceled and, like, like, just that was going to fuck him over, and he didn't. The LGBT community said, hold on. Let me show you what the LGBT community said to Nicholas Cantu. This is what the online LGBT community said to him.
Ah, thanks, Spider-Man.
Everybody gets one.
So fucking good. Yeah, so basically, I genuinely think that if, like, the online left wouldn't decimate you socially for daring to, like, get too edgy when dealing with conservatives, then the left would be so much better off. I really hate that, like, something that you guys are probably going to not like is that, like, when you go into social spaces, even left-leaning ones full of, like, especially full of trans and gay people, but that aren't, like, super hyper-politically, like, soft uwu, they are dropping the F slur and the T slur all the fucking time. All the fucking time. And it's for the comedy, from what I view. It's the comedy, the fact that they are able to say it, and that it's, like, a thing. Like, they just love saying it. And the fact is, it's like, well, you're LGBT, so there's that. But also, like, isn't it weird that there is a massive proportion of, like, young, left-leaning LGBT people who are terrified of identifying with the left because they don't want to have to deal with the social consequences of, like, being who they are as, like, a person, like, edgy and funny and irreverent, while also being progressive. Because, like, I know trans dudes who are, like, edgy as fuck and would not be, like, not get along in this server or in this chat because of the jokes that they make. Like, you guys would get triggered by the jokes that he would make. Like, it's just interesting to me that so many young LGBT people even are put off by the online left because of how aggressively enforcing of the softness and the, like, political correctness it is, right? I'm going to be honest. I think it should be fine to call, like, an evil conservative a slur. Obviously, depending. It should be like popping a limit break in like, FF14. Like, you get it, like, you better do it, and it better, like, at a right time when it's effective, and it better be, like, everybody's like, yeah, that was good. But if it's bad, everyone's going to be like, whoa, that was bad. You fucked up there. You shouldn't have used your limit break there. You know what I mean? If that was something accepted, so many more young LGBT people would be willing to be part of the left. Good God. Good God? Why did I say it like that? Like British. Good God. I do it all the time. Yeah, I imagine many of you do, but yeah. No, Zan, I believe we have better vocabulary than just calling someone a slur back. That's the problem, Perry Icefire. I feel we should. You can say that, but the fact that you responded to me with that is what makes people say, yeah, see? Like, if I showed them what you saying that, they'd see, this is exactly what I mean. This is why I don't want to deal with leftists. They want to change me. I'm not hurting anybody by making, like, edgy jokes in my private Discord server with my friends. None of us are racist or bigoted, but, like, people will literally tell you, like, you shouldn't do that. You should, you're not a good person. Like, that kind of, like, judgmentalness is what pushes people away from the left. And I know it's a desire to make people be better, but you attract more flies with honey than with vinegar. And telling people how they should be and that how they are isn't good when it's not hurting anyone is just going to validate bullshit told to them by conservatives. The left can't handle jokes, that they'll control your speech and force you to change your personality. It feeds into right-wing stereotypes. Like, come on. Like, it's okay to admit that a good thing that the left encourages, which is, like, not saying slurs, for example, can have negative effects when it comes to, say, the impact of bringing people into the left, or, like, the ability to bring more people into the left. Like, socially, online, using the sort of, like, culture war issues that are relevant right now, if that makes sense. Here, I'm adjusting my camera because it's a little bright. Now it's a little dark. Now it's a little... That's fine.
Nazi Germany is a moral regression is an awesome point. What do you say in that situation? You turn around and go, yeah, that's exactly the kind of moral regression you're advocating for in the United States of America when you want to have these like insane regressions on culture and on civil society.
The moral regression Ben was advocating for was a two-parent household, just like those evil Germans.
Dude, I would destroy Ben on Israel-Palestine. I'm serious. He is so bad.
When given the chance to destroy someone...
Why? How does Hassan do the I would destroy blank, I would destroy blank? Dude has, like, never won a debate once. Guys, has Hassan ever won a debate? Like I'm not asking this, like, facetiously. I'm actually asking, like, has there ever been a debate where people watched it and were like, man, Hassan killed in this one? It's always like, yeah, well, I guess Hassan's, like, the good guy in this one, I guess, but I wish he was doing better. It's always like, I wish he was doing better, right?
One that's about as intellectually honest as himself, Hassan loses it on international television.
You ask about 30,000 people.
I've got two panelists here.
Here's an example.
Because you're a terrorist. Please stop talking.
Forcing the debate to end early.
Cut off their food. Cut off their water.
Okay.
Yeah, the slight
you know what? I'm
Israel
going to cut off. I'm going to cut off this
9%
debate.
of their electricity. The rest is Hamas.
I'm going to cut off the
That's
debate
not
because we're
Israel.
getting
Israel
absolutely
provides-
nowhere. But I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you very much indeed.
He famously did a fluff piece for the Houthi terrorists, giving their pirating operation the stamp of approval from him and his entire audience.
That's so fire. Oh my God. Dude, we think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
Hassan
Guys, remember, the Houthi flag says death to Israel and a curse upon the Jews in Arabic. Just remember that funny flag they have with like the funny elvish looking letters. It says a death to Israel and a curse upon the Jews. Because for Hamas, the Houthis, and most of these like extremist groups that like want to destroy Israel, they don't just want to destroy Israel, they want to destroy the Jews. They are motivated by anti-Semitism, these terrorist groups, and it's the civilians caught in the crossfire. I hate when people on the left are not willing to recognize Hamas's part to play in this, because something that people forget is that while, yes, what Israel is doing is awful, for the same reason that I recommend you guys don't call it a genocide, because people will, like pick at you about it with certain, like, technicalities and whatnot, there are certain circumstances that could change what's happening right now overnight. If Hamas surrendered overnight and returned the hostages and stopped, while the settlement building would continue, the bombings and the killings would either stop or there would just be continued killing without any response. And while many of you might think that's what would happen, there's not really any evidence to suggest that's what would happen, because everything that's been happening here has been a response to October 7th. So there is the offer for Hamas to surrender, and this was all a response to military action from Hamas, though against civilian population, like America did that one time. Well, actually, that really did that one time, like a lot. That one, you know what? Well, that two times. You know what I'm talking about. You know, not much different from America. But like, yeah, it's just hard to say whether Hamas or Israel. Like, it's hard to put it all on Israel when Hamas are like, yeah. No, we don't care if it kills every Palestinian child. We want to destroy Israel and all the Jews. And these children are going to be our, like, meat shields we use to, like, either deter or block the shrapnel from incoming IDF rockets. Like, that's literally, like, Hamas and their thought process. Like, let me use some Palestinian children as a meat shield so the shrapnel doesn't get me. And you know, maybe it keeps them from shooting, but Hamas knows that, like, children being in a, like, building they've taken over doesn't stop the IDF. They keep those kids in the buildings just because it makes the IDF look bad once those kids get bombed. And it's like, well, we sacrificed a bunch of kids, but, you know, now the IDF looks a little bit worse, and maybe the US won't funnel them money, and that'll give us an upper hand. Hamas isn't going to stop. Not likely. I mean, not anytime soon. It's hard to say. It's a really fucking complicated situation in the sense that it's like, what is the solution? It's not cutting off money to Israel, because then Hamas is just able to steamroll. And that's not a joke, by the way. Like, Israel is pretty much solely supported outside of, like, the UK by us, really. And they are constantly bombarded with bombs, and there is a genocidal militaristic force with very widespread support throughout the Middle East that wants to annihilate Israel and all the people in it. And I don't care if it's stolen land. Many people there were born there. Someone in my chat, I don't know if they're here right now, was born in Israel and is still in Israel and is a lefty who is pro-Palestinian liberation. I don't think that person deserves to be cluster striked or whatever by Hamas rockets, which are, to be fair, old IDF rockets that were undetonated.
Gets so much backlash for this, he would rewrite history only a month
Because they
later,
didn't
acting like he
detonate.
never knew.
Because they didn't detonate when the IDF dropped them on Gaza, and then the Hamas reappropriated them and launches them back at Israel.
Here, this kid was a pirate.
I had a random teenager from Yemen on this broadcast, and these dipshits
Yeah, the hostages are already dead, by the way. Like, at this point, most of them are dead, and whatever amount of them are left, it won't be enough returned, if they did, for it to be enough for the, like, Israeli government to say, yeah, we're happy now. The fact is, the conflict won't stop until Hamas surrenders. That's the fact of it. I know it's tough, and I know it's not what you want to hear, and I know maybe you want to hate me for saying it to you, but it is, like, the actual, like, situation right now, is Hamas has to give a full-scale surrender for the IDF to stop, like, the slaughter, pretty much. Like, the Hamas has to throw their guns down, surrender, and give themselves to Israeli custody. Like, they have to volunteer themselves for the, like, whatever's waiting for them in an Israeli prison that they put terrorists into. You know, like, whatever, like, yeah. Hamas deserves to be destroyed if they don't surrender. The problem is, to destroy Hamas, you have to destroy almost all of the Palestinian people and their infrastructure to do so. Hamas is effectively, like, in full control of the like, Gaza Strip that's not in control of the IDF. That's not currently taken by the IDF. They're in every building. They're in tunnels, in sewer systems, in under bridges, and in, like, broken houses. They, like, are in, like, small shacks and behind buildings and around corners, and they're everywhere. And they oftentimes set up shop inside of places like hospitals or schools or doctors' offices or high-density populations that just maybe the IDF doesn't want to get the shit for dropping a strike on. And that it acts as a bit of a deterrent, but even if the IDF does attack, that's more dead Palestinian children to make the IDF look bad, which of course is something that Hamas wants. Like, Hamas, this isn't, like, mean that it's bad that we are against Israel, but Hamas is glad that so many Americans are against Israel because it is in Hamas's best interest for there to be political pressure to stop providing support to Israel so that they can, you know, actually win. IDK about calling people slurs. Don't call anybody slurs. That's fucked up. Wait, no, hold on. Wait, don't call people slurs. That is just objectively wrong. What? Wait, what? I hope none of you guys, like, got from what I said before about the online left coming off as too purity testy as, like, me saying, you know, it's fine if you call people slurs, because that is not what I meant, okay? Oh, no. Don't even call your friends slurs unless they, like, beg you to, I guess. I don't know. But, like, I'm talking about if it's, like, I don't know, like, using a quote or something, or for a very funny joke or something. I don't know. I feel like the idea that the left pushes that if you so much as utter a slur through your lips, then you're like a bad person. Kind of problematic, personally. What do I hear? Okay. I thought I heard, like, something upstairs, and I was about to be like, let me get my gun. But it's just somebody weed whackering across the street. Sounded weird coming through my headphones. My bad. Zan has a ghost. I do worry there's a ghost. I do worry there's a ghost because there's some flickerings that happened the other 2 days. You know, like the other day when I streamed, like the night before that, I turned on the light in my guest bedroom, and it like flickered like something out of Supernatural. And then that light behind me flickered on stream last time, like something out of Supernatural really briefly. I was like, guys, I think I have a ghost. And I told you guys about that, but yeah. Yeah, who knows? I'm gonna make some like iron bullets, I think. I need to buy some like iron bullets just in case I got a ghost so I can deal with it. Like dip them in salt. It'll probably fuck up my gun pretty bad, but you know, if I can get one shot off on the ghost, then I'll win.
Literally kept saying he's an anti-Semitic, homophobic, gay people executing terrorist Houthi who killed probably a bunch of fucking sailors.
Okay, yep, this is exactly what I'm talking about from the nerd. Dude, as a Hispanic, me and my Hispanic friends say more and worse slurs to each other than racists ever will. So to give you an idea, Ethan is Hispanic. I don't know exactly like what kind of Latino he is, I'll be honest, but he likes to refer to himself by slurs with slurs from like for Latino people, like the one that starts with an S. Like, he'll join VC and be like, hey, everyone's favorite S slur is here. What's going on? Like, that kind of humor. Super, like, very edgy, obviously, but, like, I know super progressive people, like, that are like that. And they would never show their faces within left-wing progressive spaces or communities because they know that their entire personality and sense of humor would be rejected by the traditional left in an instant, without a care for context or background or charitability. They would just be like pushed away and harassed away, right? And you know, I've dealt with that stuff myself. I'm not really complaining about it so much as I am commenting on it as a frustration because I hate that I know so many people that aren't willing to put up with it. I'm willing to put up with it and be a part of the left and be a part of these spaces. So many people I know aren't willing to, and I just wish they were, because if they were, that would be more people kind of like part of this sort of community that it, like, right now, politics is almost entirely decided by internet culture war bullshit. It's actually insane. And right now the right is just objectively, having a superior position in all of that, while the online left is in the worst place it's ever been. Like, since Gamergate, I guess.
Random Yemeni teenager.
He literally talks about being a Houthi on his social media, saying you should only be afraid if you're a Jew. And when it comes to engaging with...
Yep, remember guys, the Houthi flag says death to Israel and a curse on the Jews. I believe it's something like, yeah, is it a curse? Yeah, something like that. It's really LARPy shit. They're LARPers. The Houthis are LARPers, unironically though. Like they're not even that like impressive of a group as far as like military ability. They're basically just like slightly higher level like Somali pirates. Did you guys ever see that one awesome ass video where the Somali pirates went to raid a ship at sea, and it turned out that the ship they were raiding was a French pirate hunting ship? That is to say, it was a French Navy vessel that was hunting pirates. And then these pirates mistakenly boarded the pirate hunting ship. They board the ship and realize everybody on board has machine guns and are surveying the water because they're looking for pirates. And they're ready to kill pirates. And so these guys start getting shot at, and they have to get on their boat and go away. And then the ship that the pirates boarded are like, a few of them survived and they're getting away. Full speed ahead! And fucking chased them down and got them. That goes crazy. That story goes absolutely insane. That's actually one of my favorite stories that I've heard in recent years, is the pirates who accidentally raided the pirate hunter ship. This was like 2 years ago or something.
With different points of view or criticism, Hassan is as dishonest as ever.
Shouldn't you be trying to convince these people of the right thing instead of ostracizing them? Man, suck my fucking dick, dumb f***. These people are brain broken. You don't know what the f*** you're talking about.
This is gonna be a classic. That's the thing. There's a lot of dishonest folks on the internet that you have to protect yourself from. Like data brokers who steal your information.
How do the Houthis compare to the Taliban? Oh, not even close to the Taliban, dude. The Taliban are like an actual like army and government. Like they actually have so many people. The Taliban had so many people that they were able to maintain decades of like guerrilla military tactics against U.S. soldiers, boots on the ground. And not only that, but to within a couple days take the capital city of Kabul and then proceed to instill within weeks a government with full like patrols through the street to enforce the new Taliban law of like burning like any textbooks that were like making sure girls couldn't go to school, making sure women couldn't drive, making sure that women couldn't own businesses or shop at stores and stuff like that, burning all the women's clothes and mannequins and stuff like that in the street after beheading them. They did all that stuff within like a week of the U.S. leaving. That is a powerful force to be able to pull that off. And then now they have a government in power that is currently operating a propaganda wing. The Taliban are fucking powerful, okay? Like, they are a real goddamn force. Not like Iran is also a real goddamn force of like, animosity towards the U.S. But, like, that's like a full-on, proper, like, arguably first-world developed nation threat. Like, it would be like if we went to war with France or something. While the Taliban are more of a threat on their home turf, you know? Like, as long as we're not there, the Taliban aren't really doing much to us. Unless, I don't know, they decide to do some more funny pranks on the U.S. again. Anyway, let's go.
Information and sell it to spammers and scammers online. Your full name, home address, health records, family members, it's all out there. That's why I use Aura.
Sponsorship. Sponsor.
I've been working a long time now. I've been working for free.
You see Hassan streaming other people's videos all the time. It's hard work. He's really exhausted by
Listen, guys. To give you an idea of how I'm different from Hassan, look at the amount of time that has passed in the video you're currently watching right now. The one that I'm covering. It's been 42 minutes. I have been reacting to this video. We're 4 minutes in. I have currently, so far, added nearly an hour of commentary on top of 4 minutes of a hour-long video. We're not watching this whole video. We probably won't even be able to finish this chapter. But regardless, I want to give you guys a taste of it, because I do recommend you guys get a look at these videos. They're really well made and well substantiated. And believe it or not, Willie does not attack Hassan from a political standpoint at all. It's not like I'm attacking Hassan because he holds this position I disagree with that's like left-leaning. It's like Hassan definitively lied about something here, so on. Hassan hates Dylan Burns for no good reason. Oh my god, the amount of shit I get for hating Hassan when Hassan called Dylan Burns a war tourist pervert for being pro-Ukraine. You guys know that, right? Do you guys remember when Hassan went on a rant about Dylan Burns and called him a war tourist pervert for covering what's happening in Ukraine? Because Hassan is that offended by Dylan documenting Russia's war crimes? Because Hassan's that much of a Russia apologist? You guys gotta understand, I am... My next big, man, turns out Xander Hall was totally right, is gonna be Hassan getting, exposed for something. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's going to, mask off something awful, and everyone's going to turn against him, almost overnight, and people are going to be like, man, I always thought Zan went too hard on Hassan, but turns out he was right again. Listen, it's literally a meme on my channel. That's my arc every time, is I say a thing about a person, everyone's like, no, I don't want to believe it, and then it gets proven true, and everyone's like, Zan was right, and then we rinse and repeat all over again. And no matter how many times we repeat the cycle, people don't learn. They never learn.
He claimed that streaming was more soul-sucking and draining on his social battery than a normal job.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired. But a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
I sympathize that every line of work is going to have its days where it's hard, but comparing streaming in any way to a real job is so out of touch, especially coming from the guy who leaves to eat...
Guys, I'm going to be completely honest. Going to school, and I mean middle school, was harder than streaming, okay? Streaming has its aspects that are frustrating. But as a job, there's just no way that you could ever argue this is in any metric worse than a real job. It's just not. The only thing I could argue is even somewhat a case is the lack of job security, because at least with real wage cage jobs, there are certain laws that exist to protect your rights as an employee, while those don't exist at all for the contractors that are YouTubers. We have absolutely zero protections or rights whatsoever that normal employees have. So YouTube can just snap their fingers and out of nowhere, we're gone. Like, no, not even like a call of you're fired or come to my office, you're fired, or here's your 2-week notice or something. Just instantly gone. Now, this does happen in other jobs too, but if not having any legal protection to fall back on, even as like an option, definitely sucks. But that's not really going to be a problem for most people anyway. So it's such a niche problem with content creation that's like arguably worse than a normal 9-to-5 that I feel it's not even worth someone like Hassan complaining about. Like, Hassan has so much money he could retire today if he wanted and live like a high quality standard of living for the rest of his life comfortably. The reason he hasn't done that, well, I mean, he wouldn't be able to live without continuing to buy drip. Like, the amount of different outfits that are like an insane amount of money I've seen Hassan wear, I don't think the guy can survive without a constant, strong stream of income to spend on like really wealthy, like expensive materialistic shit. Like, he likes having stuff. He wants to have a lot of stuff. He loves stuff. He loves things and stuff. And he needs money for that. And retiring just doesn't like meld well with that, you know?
Midstream while other people's videos play. Hassan would obviously get a lot of heat for that, so he'd quote tweet me saying, "It's wild how this completely out of context clip made its way to Twitter so fast. I was talking about how streaming eats away at my social battery compared to my sales job, but people already understand the context, they just disagree. His own chat disagrees. Comparing it to retail work is just so funny. He's trying to get his chat to ratio me on stream while they're telling him he has a bad take."
Pass. It was a bad take. Let's just move on. Because imagine a soul-crushing job and then you still don't have money to take care of your family. Yeah, I famously say work is not soul-crushing. I don't understand. This is why people stop watching? No, man. It's not because of hater content that people stop watching. Your chat is not even on your side. What the real reason why people stop watching is because shit like this pops, dude. It bangs.
If you guys haven't noticed, Hassan's been like regularly whining about people not watching his channel anymore for like a year now. Like, every month, he gets more and more whiny about the fact that he is on his way out. Like, you look at the graphs, and it's like, man, unless Hassan, like, debates Trump and wins, bro is done. He has destroyed his goodwill. Like, no one outside of his community likes Hassan. Hassan is a figure that makes the left look bad, It used to be that Hassan was so mild, like he was just kind of a dude bro who gave very soaked dumb takes while playing video games, and occasionally he was dumb or debated badly, but that was it. And then he started going fully into the Tankie audience capture all the way, and nowadays he's gone from being like the dude bro who broke this like the stereotypes of what a leftist was and like was actually attractive to normies to watch, to becoming the stereotype of what a leftist is in a negative way. A dude who's stupid, wealthy, doesn't seem to believe in any of the stuff he advocates for, lies, is easily triggered. Obviously, Hassan is easily triggered. Like, Hassan has become a negative stereotype of the left himself, to the point where ask someone outside of the left, ask like a like left-leaning normie who might know of Hassan what their opinion is of him, it'll probably be negative. Hassan stunlocks harder than Zan? Well, when I stunlock, it's about something that's actually interesting or relevant, to be fair. Like, even tangentially so. Like, at the end of the stunlock, I feel it's more often than not, it's like, oh, I understand what he was getting at there. I get why he yapped all that, because, like, there was a point he was getting to. You know what I mean?
It bangs on Twitter. It's like, and new people that would normally filter in here are immediately fucking negatively polarized against me. That's it.
When people would ask Hassan what he thought of the criticism, he would say that he's too much of an adult to be bothered by it.
Where do you see the what we take? I did not look at any of these takes. You want to know why? Because I'm.
Oh my god, is he wearing fake neck tattoos? He's wearing fake neck tattoos and dressed like emo or goth or something. What the? He's so desperate for, like, he knows his audience. To be fair, like, you go on Twitter and it seems like 50% of the people you see talking about liking Hassan are like e-girl accounts. And it feels like so much of Hassan's brand at this point is catering to e-girls. Am I the only one that gets that vibe? Like, LARPy, tanky e-girls. Such a weird, like, combination of things, but I guess that audience exists, and it feels like that's the primary Hassan target audience right now. Is he a troll or just a grifter? He's a grifter. He's a grifter. Well, not really. Well, he's not really a grifter, actually. Hassan was a grifter when he was pretending to be a soak dem. For years, Hassan played this, like, social democrat, soak dem, or just light socialist vibe, right? And for years, he was like, yeah, liberals are allies, liberals are allies, I gotta stop Trump. But then around a couple years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, he took a full turn into audience capture by the Tankies in his fan base.
I'm a motherfucking adult who lives in the real world, and it doesn't matter.
But as the stream progressed, it became increasingly obvious that it definitely did bother him. Muda would point out that even with the extra context, he still disagrees. And Hassan would say Muda is just posturing.
It's honestly posturing specifically to be like, I, as an online content creator, am very close to you guys. I'm just like you. I hate when streamers say stuff like this. I'm very different. And it's like, bro, you understand the context of it. It doesn't... You understand the context of what I said. You see that it's like clipped out of context, and then you double down on the clipping out of context, and you say, well, even in context is still stupid.
He then pulls up Muda's tweets on Palestine to discredit him and show that he's a bad person.
That's crazy that the fucking fence is holding him. That's crazy. He's sitting hard on that.
So, I don't know if you guys have seen this, like, push by people on the left to insist that every celebrity must speak on what's happening in Palestine, like in Gaza, right? But I think it's one of the most perfect examples of why the left is failing right now. You guys know that, like, there's a movement right now to boycott Taylor Swift among lefties. Like, I think it's called, like, what's it called? Block something? Someone in chat will know what the name of the boycott is. It has to do with, like, blocking any, like, celebrity that has yet to speak on, like to speak out against Israel. And most of these people who are being, like, put on this list of people to block by this movement are people who have spoken about it. Like, multiple times even. Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish, for example, are on this, like, you must block them until they speak on the issue. And then one of these celebrities actually did respond to the boycott by putting out, like, an in-depth breakdown of, like what Israel's doing and not supporting genocide and all that. And everyone was responding, you just said this so that we wouldn't be mad at you.
That thing, dude.
So, like, they did a protest, essentially, to get them to speak out, and then once they spoke out, the response is, you only spoke out to make us happy. Because it's not about actually achieving anything. It's about having something to be a part of. They want to be a part of a big brigade of people doing a thing, and then once that thing is achieved, the fun's over, so it's time to find another reason to continue doing that thing. For a lot of people, like a scary amount of people, this whole, like, Israel-Palestine thing, it is going to stop mattering to them so quickly after this. It's no longer, like, it topic. And I feel like it's already kind of happening a little bit. There's still a war happening. I think it was Block Taylor, maybe. There's still a war happening in Ukraine right now. How often do you see lefty accounts talking about that still? Obviously me, because I talk about it all the time. But still, like, how often are you seeing lefty accounts talk about that compared to back in the day? Or even just mainstream media talking about what's happening in Ukraine? Nowhere near as much. The fact is, what's happening now in Gaza is going to be just as prominent as what's happening in Ukraine in less than a year. In less than a year. And the people who are now, like, making it the centerpiece of their online presence won't even be talking about it anymore. Because for them, a lot of them, it has just been their way of gaining relevance in a time when that topic is relevant. The war in Ukraine has completely been swept under the rug by a lot of people on the left, especially, yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with, like, a lot of the active online left right now are, like, Hassan fans who are pro-Russia and don't want the Ukraine war being discussed. But yeah.
He's like, this genocide stuff is very complex.
But Hassan would hit a boiling point when Ludwig would upload a video disagreeing with him.
There ain't no fucking way MAGA Male made a huge streaming controversy video. There's no fucking way. This motherfucker avoided, like the plague,
I'm not gonna lie, Ludwig is like the ultimate goat. Hassan and Destiny both hate Ludwig, and Ludwig hates both Hassan and Destiny, and has called both of them out. It's like Ludwig is like the ultimate based motherfucker. He's so based, they both hate him, and he hates them both. It's such a random, like, feud. It's such a random three-way feud.
8 Nick Merckx LGBT controversies, only to turn around and make a MAGA male? What is the thumbnail? Let me see this. Streaming is the hardest job on earth.
Wait, did he call it a MAGA male because he did a mogul male, like, criticizing Hassan's take? You guys see what I'm talking about here, right? Where, like, Hassan's go-to, like, don't listen to criticism of me or anyone who calls me out. They're just a MAGA person. It's, like, literally fucking Ludwig. It's just fucking Ludwig. Not some, like, Nazi alt-right YouTuber or anything. It's just fucking Ludwig.
He's so mad. So Ludwig shows all of the context and he still disagrees, making a lighthearted joke about Hassan, and Hassan feels devastated.
But I wanted to talk about this as a streamer myself for almost 6 years now on how hard it really is. I'm kidding. I just...
Oh, God. It just annoys me because, like, it's such a fake fucking thing to do. It's just literally using someone who you're friends with, like, being maliciously clipped out of context to be like, I'm actually one of the good content creators. I know how privileged I am. It's like, yeah, I do too.
When Hassan says something is out of context, it's never missing context. It just means they disagree with him. Hassan would go full mask off when an audience member pointed this out.
Yeah. It's like no different than what Muda did. He showed the context though. It doesn't matter that he showed the context. It's just a way to just literally farm off the fucking drama.
Well, then don't say it's out of context. Hassan doesn't have any...
Like, dude, the context doesn't make it better, so, like, people still don't care. Like, your argument was just as dumb with the context as without. Like, Hassan is insanely wealthy, even on a streamer, by streamer standards, especially for socialist standards, okay? The people don't criticize Hassan because he has a house. People don't criticize Hassan because he has a computer or even makes a lot of money. People criticize Hassan because Hassan focuses his content primarily on class struggle and acts as though he knows what it's like to live in the same working class as his audience. All the while, you have Hassan, who has a... What is his car? Is it a Corvette? It's one of those, like, really known brands. It's not a Ferrari. What does he have? Is it a McLaren? I think it's a McLaren. Is that what Hassan's... It's a Taycan? Bugatti? No, he doesn't have Bugatti. It's a Taycan? Porsche. Oh, he has a Porsche! You're right, it's a Porsche. It's a Porsche. He has a Porsche. Thank you. Hassan has a Porsche. He has a, like, what, $4 million? $5 million? What was it? $3 to $5 million is what I'm remembering. $1 million house in the Hollywood Hills. Like, it's just... He's wearing Gucci shit, rings, and, like, fake neck tattoos in his videos. It's hard to watch a guy whose entire, like, brand is class consciousness and class, like, warfare, I guess, and, like, we're gonna be revolutionaries, and yet the guy is the most... It's a $5 million house, okay. And yet the guy is living a life that none of his fans, who are the ones funding this lifestyle, will ever be able to attain for the most part, and the ones among his audience who can are like, what are they, class traders? I don't know what... Like, if there's millionaires watching Hassan, like, what the fuck? What's that say about Hassan if, like, millionaires, like, watch him and he's supposedly, like, a socialist? I don't know. I just find it funny. It just seems kind of hilarious that he can't resist digging into capitalism's most, like, toxic aspects, or some of its most toxic aspects, which is, like, being a slave to consumption, like being forced to do nothing but consume and being a slave to these corporations. Like, he is a slave to these corporations. He can't stop himself from consuming and giving, like, his millions to these companies for this, like, drip and all these things. And yet all the while he's sitting on his computer talking to his audience like he's working class. That is why people criticize Hassan, not because socialism is when no house. Okay? In fact, socialism can be when big house. Socialism can be when nice car. Socialism can even be when submarine. The fact is, though, Hassan doesn't really live a lot of his premises. Like, let me give you guys a breakdown of just like how I operate my channel for a little perspective on like what I think is like similar to what Hassan should be doing. And Hassan could afford this easily. I have one editor, my buddy Ethan, and me. I produce the content, like I gather the topics, I do the topics, I do the content I stream it, and then I record it, and I send that to my editor, and my editor, Ethan, who's also one of my best buddies, makes the thumbnail, edits it, and uploads it with like a title and stuff, and schedules it, right? And so, right now, I pay Ethan roughly 36% of what I make, right? Like through the YouTube channel and all my like avenues and stuff. That mostly just has to do with right now, I don't make enough money to be able to live off of half of what I make. But the second that I can, and I mean the second that I can, we've long since had it organized that we're going to split 50-50. For all of the, like, the editing work, the titling, the thumbnailing, I consider at least 50% of the work that it takes to make this entire operation function. And so in my ideal setup where I make enough money, certainly if I was making Hassan money, like if I was making more than 6 figures a year or something, I would split, well, I'd have to make well more than 6 figures a year. I would split 50-50 with my editor, because that's essentially the socialist way of doing things, is it not? Like, why is it that because I started this company, quote unquote, we'll call it, and because I'm the name, brand, and face behind it, why does that mean I should make more money if we're able to keep, like, you know, if we're able to afford it? Why does that mean, despite that, I should still make more money than my editor? When that's not a very socialist perspective, right? So the idea is, why has there been constant dramas with Hassan not being able to afford, or not paying his editors, sorry, at all? Like several times there's been Hassan not paying his editors dramas when he has been absurdly wealthy all this time. It's like, if I was that wealthy, I'd be splitting 50-50 with my editor, and we'd both be living comfortable lives, you know? It's like, it's just, there's so much to criticize him for, especially when it comes to the fact that he doesn't live his principles. And it's not because he has a nice house or a nice car. It's that he doesn't share his wealth with those that are actively his employees in the way that a socialist advocates that a capitalist ought to do. But the argument is always something like, you know, what, are we not allowed to you know, benefit from the fruits of capitalism just because we criticize it?
Way to really defend himself, so he molds and then just goes back to saying everything's out of context.
I got used like a cum rag for a Rocket Mortgage ad, dude. Come on. Dude, come on, bro. Don't farm me like that. Jesus Christ. That's lame as fuck, actually. Like, I thought...
I'm farming Hassan right now, actually. Hey, guys, drop a like on the stream right now so I can farm Hassan even harder. Let's farm some likes off of Hassan. Drop a like. It'll make him mad. He hates when he gets farmed.
I was at least gonna... Oh, yeah. For a good cause, at least? Yeah, dude. He's a great cause. He threw me to the flames, posted a fucking Twitter, a fake tweet, said that, you know, we are so privileged, actually, which he's right, we are. He just said it was out of context, farmed me regardless, moved on to be like, look how nice I am, and sold a fucking Rocket Mortgage ad in the process.
Hassan would end his stream, and his fans would try to pressure Ludwig into taking down the video.
You should call Hassan and apologize. Why is Hassan mad? What did I do?
Oh, no. Fucking fan.
What did I do? Because I'm a mogul male?
Did call Hassan, he's crying unironically.
Mega man.
Oh, well, I mean, shit, if that's the deal, I'll just fucking pull him out of the thumbnail.
So for those of you guys that don't remember, Hassan and Destiny were like good buddies for a long time, for like a few years, and they were like the dynamic duo for a while of like online lefty streamers. Truly an unthinkable thing nowadays, but back in like pre-2019, that, or like 2019 and before, that's how it was. And there was this thing where people would just go into Destiny's chat from Hassan's chat and just say, Destiny, call Hassan, he's crying. and Hassan and like Destiny, like the first few times that happened, genuinely concerned for Hassan's well-being, would contact Hassan and call him, and Hassan would be like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? What's up? I'm streaming." And Destiny would be like, "Chat was telling me to call you because you're crying," and he's like, "God damn it, dude." Simpler times, man. Simpler times.
Now, then I feel like it doesn't really matter much, right? I feel like outside the thumbnail, you can't really make that argument much.
But this wouldn't be enough for him, so Ludwig would take down the video and re-record the whole thing, siding with Hassan the whole time.
People don't really give a shit about the context. People don't really give a shit about the conversation. They just care about getting Twitter likes, which is all this really is, which is why people like Keemstar are tweeting out shit like this, just, you know, just for a dunk sesh. Because nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody gives a rat's ass about the facts or about any people involved. They just care.
This is what Hassan got mad at Ludwig for. To be fair, Hassan couldn't be fucked to watch the video, so that makes sense. Hassan probably just like filled in the blanks and then freaked out at Ludwig for literally nothing. That's so funny. That's so funny. Hassan is like, sometimes I wonder if I'm too emotional. I know that may sound surprising to you guys, but I wonder if I'm too emotional. Like if I can get too angry at people on stream sometimes. But then I see Hassan just melt down, and I'm like, no. No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
About a little Twitter, like a little impression.
Ludwig got a single DM that said no balls and then showed a tweet about bringing assassinations back. For some reason, acting like this was a serious threat.
And this is the one that set me over the edge. Now, this is a DM from a guy that just said no balls because I removed the video. Again, what the fucking plan to re-upload the video? But he messages me and he says no balls. Now, you know, by itself, you don't think much of it. But then I clicked on his Twitter account and I see that he said this: wish assassinations were a real thing. And this isn't a quote retweet to people in this situation. Not trying to say who, I'm not trying to get demonetized here. But what a fucking crazy thing for Mr. Penis Head to say.
Why is it crazy? His name is Mr. Penis Head. It's got a single like, and Ludwig's virtue signaling about how un-American this guy is.
Can now be a guy who's wishing for assassinations, because why? The guy you don't like online is millionaire? Said something you don't like? It's the most un-American thing I ever heard in my fucking life. What's more beautiful about being an American than seeing someone you don't fucking like, but they're allowed to say whatever the fuck you don't like? It blows my mind.
Why are we taking Mr. Penis Head's joke tweets so seriously? Hassan's literally tweeted a picture of the same 3D printed gun that was used to assassinate the former Japanese prime minister.
That is true. Ludwig seems to be more favorable to Hassan than Destiny, for sure, considering, like, Ludwig makes, like, Destiny's a cuck, like, jokes at him. But yeah, no, like, Hassan just, like, LARPs at suggesting his fans should do terrorism. Like, that's literally what he does. He goes on stream and says, like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if you guys, like, did terrorism, you know, for the proletariat? Haha, wouldn't that be funny? But not really, you know, we're just going to continue watching, MasterChef or something, I don't know.
And he did this to a United States senator. But Mr. Penis Head...
It's actually crazy to me that, like, Shinzo Abe got door camped with double barrel. Like, how the fuck did bro not make an Ioka and, like, counter that shit? Like, he didn't have a sleeping bag down or anything? Like, with the Ioka and a stash nearby when that guy pulled up with the double barrel? Bro got door camped. Big time.
Like, but they're allowed to say whatever the fuck you...
Tweets so seriously. Hassan's literally tweeted, and he did this to a United States gun that was used to assassinate the former Japanese...
No, come on, I wanna show the blueprint. It's so good.
Hassan's literally tweeted a picture of the same 3D printed gun.
Literally the Rust double barrel, dude. If you know what weapon I'm referring to, the double barrel from Rust. Literally. He made it a double trigger thing, so you'd have to pull both triggers at once for them, like, both barrels to go off. Or you could just do one at a time, I guess. Pretty cool. Pretty neat. Pretty impressive build, not gonna lie. But probably not good to encourage terrorism, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say that's a cringe move. You kind of have a responsibility not to do that, because people don't like when you encourage terrorism outside of the left. Like, if someone's a super lefty, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, based, but pretty much everyone else is gonna think you're a psycho for posting this kind of shit.
That was used to assassinate the former Japanese prime minister. And he did this to a United States senator. But Mr. Penis said way too far. Ludwig's a coward for taking this video down. It's so funny to me that Hassan has this expectation that his friends need to defend him at every turn for every dumb thing he says. Vosh's community makes fun of Hassan for his poor coverage of Ukraine. And Hassan wants it down.
This is not a leftist community at all, for the record. I don't know. I really thought so. I reached out to Vosh earlier today. I was like, listen, dude, I see something going on that I don't like. I'm letting you know it's a fucking never-ending death spiral. It will turn out bad if you just, like, allow this kind of shit to foster. And he was like, he was literally like, yeah, no, f off. Like, these were legitimate criticisms. I was like, bro, they were literally clipping shit from my Twitter where I was criticizing Russia to make it seem like I was pro-Russia. How is that in any way, shape, or form legitimate criticism?
He's lying again.
I hope Willie Mac's show just shows a bunch of clips of him defending Russia.
Saying it's out of context when it's not. I have a whole video documenting it. XQC
Yeah, okay. I don't know if he will, but oh, fuck.
ranks Hassan a little lower on a tier list, and Hassan cries about it.
Like, whenever your chat was like calling me out or whatever, when mentioning Moon and NMP Lol, Asmongold, and all these other content creators, actually.
God. Like, Hassan's just kind of a little whiny bitch. I'm not gonna lie. Like, no one would really like him as much as they seem to pretend to if he didn't have as much clout as he does. Like, I know for a fact that, like, some of his orbiters certainly wouldn't. Like, Denims is, like, one of his biggest orbiters, like Hassan waiting room streamers now. But whenever I hung out with her back, like, a couple years ago, before she was, like, a massive Hassan clone, she outright said to me that Hassan has no personality. Like, she said something along the lines of, like, yeah, I think Hassan's kind of cute, but dude has absolutely no personality, and his content's, like, you know, hollow or something along those lines. And now she's, like, one of the big orbiters because she kind of migrated to where the cloud is. A lot of content, like, the biggest clout chasers all sort of gravitate towards Hassan. So if you want to, like, figure out, is somebody a clout chasing weirdo or just not really genuine, then look at their proximity to Hassan. I mean, look at the people he surrounds himself with. Like Frogan Denims, Mike from PA, Bad Bunny. We could go down. I'm pretty sure there's more that I just can't think of. But like, these are all people who are notorious for, especially lately, not having the best of takes, you know? Not having the best of takes. $5 a month.
Honestly, I don't know what I'd do if I had to kiss a black bisexual man. I think I'd actually throw up.
Remember when she said that? I feel like I did a really good impression of her right there as well. I think that was, like, spot on her voice. Like, was that not perfect? God, Bad Bunny is so disgusting. I feel gross just, like, quoting her, you know? Hakeem in Second Thought. Guys, have you seen... Okay, I have to show you. This is where we'll wrap things up, you know? Second Thought super car reviews. Oh my god. Where's his supercar channel? How does he link it on his main? JT Chapman. Is this the channel where he does the car reviews? No. Oh, I bet he hides it. Is this it? No. Where's his supercar review channel? Here it is. Second Thought plus Real Life Lore. A new show where they do supercar reviews. Socialist supercar reviews.
If you've been on the channel for a while, you've probably heard me mention the secret project I've been working on with Joseph from Real Life Lore. Well, after almost a year of planning and...
Guys, you have to support me on Patreon. I barely am scraping by because of how aggressive YouTube's demonetization is. By the way, I'm currently working on starting a new channel where we're going to review supercars. Also, I'm a socialist.
Shooting, we're finally ready to launch. As of right now, you can catch our new car show, Grand Test Auto, right here on YouTube. We review everything from muscle cars to electrics to autocycles, supercars, and
a fucking Tesla! No fucking way! That's a Tesla, motherfucker. No shot, dude.
Autocycles, supercars, and of course, the Toyota Corolla. Grand Test Auto will always be free and supported by sponsors here on YouTube. But if you'd like to watch the show ad-free and see new episodes months before everybody else, you can sign up for an account on Nebula and watch Grand Test Auto along with tons of other original content.
But basically, like, it's behind a subscription service where, like, they rake in a commission for views based on, like, the subscriptions of their viewers. It's basically a streaming service like Netflix, but where creators that are like mostly left-leaning, like video essay content creators are. I think Nebula's pretty chill, but there's a fair few creators there that I'm not a big fan of. I love H-Bomber Guy. I think Lindsay Ellis is cool. I like the T1J. Kento Bento's pretty cool. I've seen a few of his videos, and they're pretty solid. Don't know who this is. Don't know who this is. Real Engineering, I've watched a few videos from. Low Spec Gamer was the fucking GOAT back when I had nothing but a laptop, dude. Holy shit. Dude, when I was gaming on a shitty laptop, Low Spec Gamer was the GOAT. The amount of games that I've played, Resident Evil 7, I have played only because of Low Spec Gamer. He taught me how to get that game looking atrocious, but running like hot butter on a sun-drenched car hood in Florida in the summer. He got it running smooth, and it looked like garbage, but boy did it run smooth, and I finally got to play RE7. And it was on a shitty laptop. I remember that. God, Low Spec Gamer, Tier Zoo. I don't know who Bunny Hop is. CGP Grey is like... CGP Grey is weird. Here's another unpopular opinion I have for you guys. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a channel did a reaction to one of CGP, or a couple of CGP Grey's videos, like old videos, like videos that are over half a decade old at this point, and gain, like, I have an add-on that lets me see how many views per hour a video gets. It gets 27 views an hour. Like, that's a good amount for such an old video, but, like, compared to a video I uploaded, like, say, a day ago, a video I uploaded a day ago will get, like, 300 or 200 views an hour, right? So it's not exactly like popping off anymore, or like generating a shitload of income. And this History Channel YouTuber did a reaction to one of CGP Grey's videos and did a pretty good job of adding commentary, and did that a few times. CGP Grey's response was to instantly issue multiple copyright strikes, to issue one copyright strike. Now, unlearning, or what was it? It was like history, something? I forget exactly. This History Channel responded like, hey, can we just, like, sort this out? Like, can I contest this and you can take the strike away? Because this really hurts my channel, and like, you know, I'll take the video down, I guess. Like, but can we not have the strike? CGP Grey doesn't email him or respond in voice at all, simply responds by hitting him with another strike. Vlogging through history, thank you. Yeah, CGP Grey responds by hitting him with another retaliatory strike for challenging the first one. At this point, the dude is literally one more strike away from losing his channel forever, which is his main source of income. Like, CGP Grey is just like, hi, buddy, you reacted to a few of my videos. I'm going to take your entire career away now. Like, extra legally, by the way. Like, this is a legal process, but we're not getting the court involved. YouTube just does it for me automatically because they side with the claimant. And so CGP Grey obviously doubled down on this, but a bunch of YouTubers came out to defend him. But the people who, or to defend Vlogging Through History, because what CGP Grey did was, like, so obviously cunty. And as it turns out, CGP Grey has been on, like, a fucking crusade to shut down any discussion about his content that is not on a platform he moderates. So, for instance, he owns his Reddit, and it's locked down so hard you have to be approved to post anything there. Not only that, but his comment section is behind a paywall. Obviously, his videos on Nebula with a comment section are behind a paywall, and his Discord's behind a paywall. You're not allowed to talk to or about him in any particularly impactful way unless you pay him, basically, which obviously filters out any criticism. So he's got like a very controlling sort of like grip on his content, and he does this thing where anytime if you react to even a second of his content, he will copyright strike you. He will strike you. And not only that, but he doesn't, like, consider his older videos, like, free game like most YouTubers do. The algorithm doesn't really recommend your content anymore after, like, a little while, but something he did that really hit me the wrong way, granted I have my biases, was when Rings of Power came out, he re-thumbnailed his, like, 6 or 7-year-old videos explaining the Rings of Power and their creation, and, like, gave them a new thumbnail and title to, like, get the SEO and, like, clicks from the new Rings of Power show. Like, as if he had, like, re-uploaded it almost. And it had like a bit of a new round, went a new round through things. So he seems to like treat his even like 10-year-old videos like, I'm going to update the thumbnail and title on this and send it back through the algorithm. And it's never going to be like fair game to watch in his view, I guess. It's a really bizarre way. He seems to be kind of a control freak, to be honest. And a few other content creators came out to support him and do kind of act similarly, though not quite as over the top to the point where I don't like them. An example is, God, this upsets me because I love his content so much, is, what's his name? He made the really good neo-slavery video. I'm giving you guys my if you guys take my opinion on content creators and like my like radar for what kind of people they are, if you take it seriously at all, then this is your opportunity to know my opinion, I guess. Knowing Better, thank you. I reacted to the Knowing Better video on neo-slavery. If I recall correctly, it was like a 40-minute to an hour-long video, and I transformed it, like I put it well over double the amount of time that the video was of reaction into the video. Like, I transformed the fuck out of that video, basically. Now, I didn't get striked by Knowing Better, thankfully. Knowing Better was far more polite than that, which I really appreciate. But within a couple days, he contacted me, asking that I take down the video, because he's not okay with anyone reacting to his content. Or, I think he's okay with people reacting to it, but you're not allowed to clip it and upload the reaction. You did almost 3 hours. Yeah, I transformed it like a lot. But he requested that I take it down and heavily implied he would issue a strike if I refused. So I just went ahead and did. Something that I've noticed is that it feels like a lot of, maybe this is just because I've encountered 2 people who've done this, a lot of these like Nebula posting high production value like video essay content creators will just outright destroy your channel if you dare to like react to their stuff, no matter how transformative, because a lot of them have a massive ego, it seems, about like the ownership of their content, like a Dark Viper AU level like ego about it. So yeah, you got to be careful, because these people will just take your fucking career away if they feel like you've like tarnished, like smudged their ego, I guess. Obviously, Knowing Better is chill. Like, he requested I take the video down before suggesting that he might give me a strike if I don't. So I appreciate that, because he gave me a warning, and I was able to not get a strike. But if it was CGP Grey, I would just have a strike on the channel. So, yeah. Anyway, there's just like a whole like section of marginally left-leaning, I guess, but mostly like just pretentious video essayist content creators that, for a lot of reasons, I feel are kind of like locking themselves away from the level of influence and being part of the online community that they could be, you know? That's not chill. Can you are too nice, man? Or do too nice, Zan? I mean, like, I know it's not chill, and it's not that I'm too nice, it's that if I refused, he would have, like, issued a strike, and the only way to remove it would be to challenge Knowing Better and, like, see him in court about it, you know? And have a big, like, precedent-setting legal case on, like, fair use. That I might win, and it might be precedent-setting, but people will still take each other to court in the future. It won't change anything. Yeah, exactly, to answer. Like I said, he's okay if you react to it live, but you cannot upload your reaction, right? Like, you can't upload a reaction to his video. And it's just like, I don't get it, actually. No, it's ego. It is ego, because statistically, it's been proven that re-uploads even help to bring some level of knowledge to the original creator. Like, for example, I saw that cat meme today of the cat doing, like, the Fallout, like, thing. I learned of that today, and then found out the same day from my chatter, from sharing it with you all, that it turns out it came from someone else, their friend, who had made it originally, and it was stolen and re-uploaded without the watermark. But because I shared it to somebody who knew, I was able to share the original around. So by extension, even the stealing of that friend's content resulted in me shouting out the original uploads link am providing attention to it. So the original art ended up gaining prominence that it wouldn't have before, by the way, because it was stolen, essentially. Eventually, it like the just desserts were brought. That tends to be how things work online. The algorithm cannot be trusted to disseminate your own content itself. Frankly, the best thing you can have is what are effectively a bunch of peons re-uploading your own content that are essentially acting as a bunch of different fresh slates in the YouTube algorithm to reach a potentially entirely different audiences and widen the net far further than you ever could yourself. Like, if I had 10 like clip channels that were regularly like re-uploading my videos, like maybe a day after I uploaded them, that would not hurt my channel. The majority of my views come in on the day the video comes out. That would quickly result in like new viewers discovering me from clip channels and coming to the main channel. That's just how YouTube works. And so, yeah, I don't know. Do you think that Knowing Better has partnership with an organization where Knowing... He didn't mention anything like that. I don't think he mentioned anything about being in an agreement that stopped that, but I just think it's like a weird kind of trend among these content creators who, granted, put a ton of work into their content oftentimes, and so I think they feel an even stronger sense of ownership of it than most other content creators or content viewers see as reasonable, because I don't think it is, you know? Anyway, I'm curious to hear and see what you guys think of this entire situation, from, you know, the dunking on Hassan to the criticizing of like these pseudo lefty to tanky content creators that are like video essayists. I feel like I had a lot to say here, and I'm curious what you guys thought. If you agree, if you disagree, comment down below. I want to see it. It also boosts the channel and the algorithm, which really, really helps. Don't forget to leave a like, which also helps a lot. And subscribe and ring the bell icon if you haven't already, so YouTube tells you when I go live or upload a new video or anything like that. And of course, if you want to see more from me online, be sure to follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. And of course, if you want to support me financially, you can always donate, subscribe, or gift a sub to me on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below. But of course, don't forget, if you want to be a part of my community for real, join the main hub of my fan base, which is my fan Discord. It is completely free to join through the link down below in the description. I host watch parties, game events, and call-in streams there, as well as announce all my videos and streams every time I do them. So as long as you're in there, you'll never miss a notification, even if YouTube's being weird. So I hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.